the word archdiocese and what does that mean. Some years ago, in the early 90s, there was a campaign that we ran to try to explain what is an archdiocese, because people use that word but really not always sure what it means, and it does have multiple meanings. So let's take a few minutes to take it apart. So Archbishop, start with some definitions for us.
Sure.
What is an archdiocese?
Well, let's do a 1-minute history. Jesus tells his apostles to go forth. Okay. They go forth. They are, in a sense, the first bishops, caring for the local church, which is in Corinth and Antioch and Rome. And then all of a sudden, as the church grew, that local church needed to be served in many ways. And lo and behold, presbyters or priests were appointed, individual parishes came about. And so the local church, if you would, as opposed to the universal church. Universal church is the whole world under our Holy Father. But the local church becomes the diocese. And that diocese has many parishes. So in our archdiocese, I like to say that what's an archdiocese? It's 110 parishes helping one another. The bishop is the source and sign of unity, both in truth and charity. But the bishop is meant to call forth all the faithful. So when someone says, well, that's the archdiocese, they're not meaning the archbishop, they're meaning all the faithful. That meaning everybody who comprises the 110 parishes. And we're called to help each other. So when something can happen at a local level, better and easier, subsidiarity, that should happen. When we need to do things that are more complex for everybody, our Catholic Charities, or let's say the Catholic Conference of Kentucky, in which we interact with legislatures. These things each individual parish could not do. The forming of new priests. Certain things need to be done on a wider level, but the archdiocese would be that local church that has as its core the person of Jesus Christ, the announcing of the sacraments, the gospel, and pastoral service of others. We do this together.
Now, of course, as you always remind us, it's first and foremost Jesus, the people of God, and then our parishes. But let's talk for just a little bit, a minute, the word archdiocese.
Oh, sure.
Because we get into even some geography here.
That's right.
Too. So help
that's
us
right.
with that.
That's a good. I'm glad you raised that, because just for really efficiency's sake,
yeah.
Dioceses, as they formed, began to group together in what's called the province. Okay. And the province is a territory. In Ohio or Indiana, that province happens to be the same size as the state. For us, the province includes not only Kentucky, but also Tennessee. So when the 7 dioceses come together as a province, the metropolitan, or the archbishop, is the one who brings them together.
Convenes them.
So an archdiocese is a diocese, but it has an added benefit and responsibility of also calling forth the other dioceses in that area. Archbishop Kelly always said to me, what's an archbishop? An archbishop or a metropolitan is somebody who brings about unity without getting in the way. And so I always love that. I remember that often. So it's a wonderful role. And so our archdiocese would be for really all of the dioceses that are in both Tennessee and Kentucky, kind of a center to bring together and to bring unity.
Okay. Then our specific local church then is the 24 counties that make up the Archdiocese of Louisville specifically, and our 110 parishes. So help us now more of the connection between parish and archdiocese.
Yeah. Well, you know, our Holy Father is very good in talking about parishes, and he says a parish is a family of families.
Okay.
So that if we look at the families that make up so much the core of our parishes, as they come together, the family of families is the parish. Well, in many ways, I think we could say, as parishes come together, the archdiocese is the family of parishes. It's the unity of parishes. And just as any family is interested in one's neighbor, and comes together and works, so also the archdiocese must do that. The unity, Brian, I often say, is truth and charity, meaning we're united in our beliefs. Yeah. We're united in our moral convictions. We're united in the way in which we worship, but we also do so in the mode of charity. by our kindness and by the theological virtues that bring us together of faith, hope, and charity.
By the fact that we're an archdiocese, we have an archbishop.
Yes.
As an archbishop, one of your tasks is what we call governance. You oversee this. And I know one of the values you have is when you're doing governance, to consult with our parishes, to consult with our pastors, to consult with our people. And so in this local church, we have numbers of consultative bodies who you consult. Talk about the role of consultation in a diocese.
Oh, it's a great. And I like to use the word rich.
Okay.
Rich consultation means while the Archbishop has the responsibility of making ultimate decisions, and it's one that has to be done prayerfully and with the mind of Christ, he needs to listen and he needs to consult. Our priest council comes together once a month. It's a wonderful place where I deal not only with issues related to the priesthood and care of our priests, but also governance of the Archdiocese. Yeah. A second group, and you have a great hand in this, comes together twice a year and is a gold mine, and that is our Archdiocesan Pastoral Council. Yeah. And that's made up of really the chairs of the parish councils of all the parish councils of 110 parishes. So, my gosh, we will have, as you well know, 60 to 80 people interacting, and because I think you and I have worked so closely together and you've taken the leadership on this, we come to them with a well-defined and honed critical question. Yeah, that's right. We're not just asking them to come together and say the same thing each time, but we bring to them very specific needs. I think we get great attendance.
Sure,
and
sure.
We get great participation, and then there's the ripple effect on what happens when they go back to their parish councils. So they're two rather significant. There are many others, youth ministry, et cetera, but they're the two very significant areas of consultation.
We should probably do a show sometime on the topic of those, because we've got finance, development, diaconate
that would be
council.
good. I did one with Father Hammer on the priest councils one time, but the Archdiocesan Pastoral Council we've not done. That would be a good thing to do.
That would be a good topic.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. That'll be showing up one of these times.